they talk about not being able to subpoena the evidence. So they can't issue subpoenas to these particular banks. And Lewis, who's the expert at the firm on financial crimes, immediately knows, X number of the big banks in Liechtenstein don't respond to, U.S. subpoenas.
Yep.
And a subpoena would be a common way to go about getting some of this evidence. We were talking about the discovery process. Throughout the discovery process, you'd potentially issue subpoenas. Whether or not these banks have to comply with those subpoenas when they're in a different jurisdiction gets complicated. But that would be the device where, they talked about getting video evidence of the person, the CEO, entering these banks. You could issue a subpoena to those banks and they may or may not have to comply with turning over that videotape or information on various accounts. And so if it's the United States government issuing those subpoenas as opposed to a private law firm, the consequences probably unsurprisingly can be very different.
Yeah, and their fear, right? It's what force do they perceive to be behind the subpoena? And if they think it's the U.S. government, maybe they quake a little bit. If they think it's a private law firm, maybe they say, we also are balancing our desire to be seen as a very private bank.
Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, the law firm issuing the subpoena would try and bring down the force of, the U.S. government or potentially some state government to have that subpoena enforced, but a bit different whenever it's coming from a private firm versus the government itself.